Hello everybody and welcome to week 9. Hopefully this is a welcome and familiar sight to see. Technically due today is nothing. I did modify the homework 8.2 to fit this week's assignments. If you already submitted before break, I know there were just a few of you, please do double check, and if you have any questions about how to reformat, please let me know. This week, we will be focusing on a few new tasks. If you didn't already see the introduction video to CO300, please do check that out on our homepage. That should give you an update on what's going on for the rest of the semester, as well as an overview of the new syllabus. It is revised with some new due dates. The assignments are weighted a bit differently, so please do check that out, as well as the other resources available there. This video, however, will focus on developing a thesis statement, going back through some of the audience readings you have in your Essentials of Argument textbook, and going over the rubric. I'll take you over to Canvas real quick. This is our P3 module. This is linked on the home page, so if you're following along, please do review the new assignment sheet. Slightly different requirements now, a little bit less, and the rubric that I'll be going over in just a moment. So let's take a look at that rubric. First section is purpose. 25 points for purpose, making sure that you have a very clear goal in mind, demonstrating exigence, and a defined stance on your issue. Your audience should be specifically in mind. Your website should be built toward a specific group of people rather than a general everybody kind of audience. This section is worth 20 points, and more points are worth more. The more specifically you address the audience, the better you build those appeals. Focus and development will be 15 points of this project, essentially making sure that you dig into the information, that you remain focused on your singular topic rather than branching off into a number of the tangentially related concepts that you might be tempted to do, and making sure that each page is purposefully designed and all comes together to help you achieve your purpose. Organization will also be worth 10 points. While this isn't necessarily about the design of your website, it should be organized well and according to genre conventions that we'll talk about a little bit next week. You will be using multimodal elements, so whether those are graphs, charts, photos, color schemes, those should all be thoughtfully designed as well. Style and convention again is worth 10 points. You have the option of using MLA 8 or APA 2009, and of course going back to kind of sentence level errors and design elements, things that make your work stand out. The last piece is your letter of explanation, worth 20 points, or 1/5 of the grade. This is your chance to show how and why you achieve your purpose so successfully with your audience. Almost similar to the commentary that you did on P1 in the margins, this is going to show me that you understand how and why you made each rhetorical choice. That's our rubric. As we think about our thesis, arguably the most important sentence of your entire work, you're identifying the rhetorical audience and what you want from them. So I've given you this template here to kind of introduce all the main ideas that you're going to develop. So naming your audience specifically, making sure that you know exactly what action they're taking, and defining your issue clearly. So, for example, putting all of these elements together, American voters should get involved in the protection of public lands because of the current threats could be a good first draft of a thesis, kind of identifying some of these main rhetorical components. We will use the term claim in this, so you'll see I've crossed out thesis, replaced it with claim, based on the argumentation structures that we'll talk about next week. Thesis and claim are both terms for the same piece, basically identifying your main argument. Alright, and the remainder of this recording is going to talk a little bit more about audience and then go back to Canvas. With this project, identifying your audience clearly and knowing more about them is going to be super helpful to make sure that you are successful in achieving your purpose. The Essentials of Argument readings that you are going through for this project could be really helpful in starting to define this section. Remember, your website has to have an about page, so you might be able to use some of this information directly on your about page, establishing how and why your organization or your website works for this audience. Your textbook also talks about your audience in terms of being able to analyze their perspective. First, understanding where they come from, if they're really friendly toward your issue, if they might be hostile or really resistant, or if they're just unfamiliar and don't know much about it, is going to help you reach them more effectively. So as you read through your textbook, make sure that you're kind of thinking about the demographic information of your audience and what you know about them, and looking into the genre analysis, they might know, what kinds of publications your audience might read. Whew, I might make a blooper reel before this is all done, just for how tongue-tied as I get. Okay. Last piece on audience, looking at discourse analysis. This is where the genre analysis really comes into play, making sure that you understand the types of publications and texts that your audience reads is going to be helpful for you as well. Your writing should match the types of things your audience is interested in. In your letter of explanation, as you talk about why you have an effect on your audience, being able to define some of these elements of discourse analysis will be really important too. The second selection from your textbook is the American value system. So you have a lot of different options in this. Being able to identify your audience based on these values, whether or not they're American, can start to help you find common ground or where you have a disconnect. Making assumptions about your audience is one really dangerous side effect of this project. Rather than thinking about how you are similar and different, if you only come down on one of these or focus more explicitly on one area, it's going to be more difficult for you to be successful with them. So as you look at these different value systems, starting to categorize your audience and figure out where they lie in this issue is going to help you in your argument as well. All of these readings should give you a handle on your genre analysis, so making sure that you understand your rhetorical audience and their constraints. We want to figure out what kinds of publications they're going to be interested in reading and how your website can match these demands, how you can match the needs of your audience. So in your genre analysis, start thinking about these different ideas and then look through the specific prompts to figure out how your audience would respond to these different tactics. That takes us to our homework. I'll go through Canvas just so you can see. Normally I'll end on this screen. For the discussion, ultimately this will be around 300 to 400 words. Your Sunday assignments, those will be readings and different submissions that will be due by Sunday. You can start those early, and some of those will be helpful in the discussion. So from our course Canvas page, I have this separated week by week. We are in week 9, and I'll upload this here. You have your discussion and the Sunday assignments outlined here. Your discussion has specific prompts. This week, you'll only be making one post answering these 3 questions. So for number 1, this is what the video question is. So in about 100 words, what kinds of questions or concerns do you have about the course? This might be similar to anything you've posted in the FAQ, but I'd like to help you out and be able to respond to some of those here in real time as well. Other than that, you'll be responding to a few of these others, so like the video just talked about, drafting a thesis, and reviewing the sites for your genre analysis. In the Sunday assignments, you have a few readings. These are mostly similar from what was posted in week 8.2, that original homework, and a few different writing assignments reflecting on P2, overall how it went, and your genre analysis. As requested, I have included a few examples to show you what some strong students have done in the past, so you might benefit from reviewing those. That said, I have modified this assignment to make it a little bit more manageable with the online discussion as well, so please keep that in mind. The last part is the survey. Since I've never taught online, I am interested in your feedback. Hopefully week to week, these lessons will get better and better, and your feedback will help me do that. So with that, I'll leave you with your homework. I hope that you're all doing well, staying safe, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Have a good day.